The endless dark of space stretched across the stars like a silent ocean. From this deep sea of galaxies, a massive fleet emerged, shining with metallic colors. It was the Threxian fleet, feared across many star systems. Their ships were sharp, silver blades in the sky with glowing engines that pulsed like beating hearts. Everywhere they went, civilizations fell. They were conquerors, and they believed no one could challenge them. The Threxians had destroyed powerful empires before. They had faced species with weapons of plasma, species that lived in machines, even species that controlled energy directly. Yet every time, the Threxians found a weakness, exploited it, and claimed victory. Now their eyes had fallen on a small blue planet in the spiral arm of the Milky Way, Earth. To them, Earth looked almost fragile. It was covered in oceans and clouds, with green and brown continents scattered like broken pieces of land. It looked peaceful, soft and weak compared to the warlike planets they had seen before. The Threxians believed that taking this world would be easy. From the command ship, High Commander Veyrak looked down at the swirling blue globe with arrogance in his voice. "This world will kneel," he declared to his council. "Its people are soft. Their bodies are weak. They lack the fire of true warriors. Soon, Earth will be another jewel in our empire." His words filled the chamber with prideful approval. The Threxians judged strength by the armor one wore, the weapons one carried, and the raw muscle of the body. By those standards, humans seemed laughable. They had no exoskeletons like the Threxians, no natural weapons, no great ships that could match even the smallest vessel in the fleet. Among the council sat one figure who did not join the laughter. This was Zaylan, a scientist known for caution. He studied not only weapons but also the hidden details of worlds. While others relied on strength, he trusted knowledge. His eyes, thin and sharp, watched Earth carefully on the screen. "High Commander," Zaylan spoke calmly, "I advise caution. Appearances can be misleading. A planet like this, rich in oceans, storms, and shifting climates, may not produce weaklings. Sometimes a gentle-looking shell hides a hard stone within." But the council ignored him. Warriors pounded their fists against the table in amusement. "You worry too much, scientist," one of them mocked. "These creatures are fragile. Their weapons burn with fire and metal, not plasma. They crawl on the ground while we fly among the stars." The High Commander raised his hand. "Enough. We will not waste time fearing shadows. Prepare the scans. Let us see how weak this world truly is." At once, the fleet's great instruments turned toward Earth. Invisible beams spread across the atmosphere, measuring, reading, searching. The Threxians expected the usual: harmless gases, gentle climates, and weak life forms. Yet, as the readings came back, silence fell in the chamber. The data was not what they expected. First, the oxygen levels appeared unusually high. So high, in fact, that their own soldiers could not breathe Earth's air for long without harm. Oxygen, while life-giving to humans, was dangerously reactive, capable of feeding fires and breaking down even strong metals over time. It was, as Zaylan whispered, a planet built on fire. The Threxians were astonished. How could fragile creatures thrive in such a place? Then came the storms. The scanners revealed hurricanes that spun faster than the largest storms on most alien worlds. Winds strong enough to tear down cities, lightning strikes that carried immense energy, greater than some of their ship weapons. And yet humans lived with these storms. They built cities in their path, rebuilt them after destruction, and continued to thrive. More readings arrived. Radiation from the sun reached Earth's surface daily, levels high enough to damage cells, yet humans endured it. Diseases spread through their populations, endless battles between tiny organisms and human bodies. Still, the species survived, generation after generation, adapting each time. It was a cycle of struggle that had forged resilience. The High Commander frowned. His arrogance wavered for the first time. "Explain this," he demanded. Zaylan leaned forward, his voice steady. "This planet is no cradle of weakness. It is a crucible. Every storm, every disease, every flame of oxygen has shaped its people. You see weakness, Commander, because you judge only what is outside. But look deeper. Survival here is not easy. These humans live where we would struggle. They are trained by their own world." Some of the warriors scoffed, unwilling to accept this view. "They may live with storms," one said, "but their weapons are still primitive. They fight with bullets and fire, not plasma beams." Zaylan did not argue. Instead, he turned the screen to show images taken from human broadcasts, the small signals that leaked into space for decades. They showed humans building rockets, machines of metal breaking free of gravity. They showed wars, yes, but also recoveries. They showed individuals climbing mountains, crossing oceans, flying through skies with nothing but fragile wings of metal. These are not the actions of the weak, Ceylon said firmly. They are the actions of those who never stop trying. That, High Commander, is what makes them dangerous. The chamber grew uneasy. For the first time, doubt spread through the warriors. The planet they thought weak was beginning to look unpredictable. The High Commander clenched his jaw, unwilling to admit he might have underestimated humanity. Still, he would not retreat. We continue, he ordered. Run deeper scans. Study their defenses. We will know all there is to know before we take this planet. If they are strong, we will learn how to break them. And so the Threxian fleet continued to scan Earth. From space, they looked at mountains, oceans, and storms. They studied volcanoes that spilled rivers of fire. They measured earthquakes that shook entire cities. Everywhere they looked, they found a world of constant struggle, and humans surviving in the middle of it all. As the readings grew stranger, even the warriors began to whisper among themselves. Could it be true? Could this soft-looking species be something more? No one dared speak it aloud, but the thought haunted their minds. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans continued their daily lives, unaware of the watchful eyes above. Children laughed in playgrounds, workers built machines, scientists planned new missions to the stars. They had no idea that an alien empire was judging them, measuring them, and wondering if they had found not a weak world, but a hidden forge of strength. The High Commander stood once more, staring at the planet that glowed blue and white against the black of space. His voice carried a mix of arrogance and unease. If this world has secrets, he said, we will uncover them. If its people have strength, we will crush it before it grows. But Ceylon, the cautious scientist, thought differently. In his heart, he felt the first touch of fear. The data told him a story the others refused to believe. This planet, with its wild storms and fiery air, had created a species unlike any they had faced before. And if the Threxians were not careful, they might discover too late that humanity was far from weak. The Threxian fleet floated like silent giants above Earth, their sensors digging deeper into the blue planet. What they saw in the first scans had already disturbed them. Oxygen levels too high, storms too violent, and diseases too endless for a so-called weak species to endure. Still, many warriors laughed it off, claiming strength only lived in armor, weapons, and visible power. But the scientist Ceylon did not laugh. He pressed the commanders to study more. Now new results poured in, and what they revealed shocked even the proudest Threxian generals. Life in the Crucible. The sensors tracked human settlements across deserts, mountains, frozen tundras, and rain-drenched jungles. Everywhere humans were present. They lived in burning heat where even Threxian soldiers would faint. They lived in icy regions where metal cracked under frost. They built homes on mountains that touched the sky and on islands constantly struck by storms. This cannot be, whispered one officer as he read the reports. No other species we have conquered could survive in so many extreme zones. They would die in weeks, but the humans did more than survive. They thrived. They planted food in deserts. They carved cities into cliffs. They built machines that cut through snow and waves. Earth itself looked like a harsh training ground, yet the humans had not run from it. They had made it their home. Ceylon spoke again in the council chamber. His voice was calm, but beneath it was a note of warning. Do you see? Every place on this planet is a battlefield. Storms, droughts, floods, fires. These humans do not flee. They adapt. Each struggle shapes them. Each disaster makes them stronger. The warriors shifted uncomfortably. They had always thought of humans as fragile because their bodies lacked armor and weapons. But now they began to understand. The humans did not need natural armor. They had something else, an ability to adapt that no machine could fully measure. The storms and the fires one scanned focused on Earth's weather. Giant spirals of wind spun across the oceans. Hurricanes so strong they could lift ships out of water. Lightning bolts as long as towers cut through the skies. Waves taller than fortresses rose and crashed. Yet human settlements still existed along coasts and rivers. They lived beside storms. A commander said in disbelief. Yes, Ceylon answered, and when the storms destroy, they rebuild. Again and again, the warriors were silent. To them, honor meant never retreating, but in truth they had avoided worlds with such unstable skies. Their empire expanded by choosing easy battles, easy planets. But here were humans walking into storms without hesitation. The scans also revealed fire. Volcanoes erupted across continents, sending rivers of lava into valleys. Forests burned for weeks. Yet once the flames cooled, humans returned, rebuilding their homes. To the Threxians, it seemed almost foolish. Why return to danger? But Zaylon explained it differently. It is not foolishness. It is determination. They learn that nothing is permanent. They fall, but they rise again. That is a strength many species cannot understand. The invisible battles, the Threxians also studied human biology. They discovered a strange truth. Humans lived in constant war, not just against storms, but also against tiny enemies, diseases, viruses, and infections. Most alien species would collapse if such sicknesses spread through their colonies. But humans fought back with their bodies, their medicine, and their science. They are born into war, Zaylon said softly. Every human carries scars of battle inside them, even if they never lift a weapon. Their bodies are training every day to survive attacks we cannot even see. The warriors did not like this idea. They preferred clear battles, strong against strong. Yet the data proved humans lived through endless invisible battles, and still they endured. The human history. Next, the fleet intercepted more of Earth's signals, radio waves, television broadcasts, digital codes traveling through the air. They studied human history. What they found was both terrifying and impressive. Wars that spanned continents, civilizations that rose and fell for thousands of years, machines that grew from wooden wheels to rockets piercing the sky, stories of explorers crossing oceans with nothing but stars to guide them, stories of inventors who turned fire, steam, and electricity into engines, ships, and planes. Do you see the pattern? Zaylon asked. They never stop. Each age is harder than the last, yet they continue forward. No disaster holds them back forever. They rise from ashes again and again. The High Commander clenched his jaw. He wanted to believe humans were weak. But the story of Earth told another truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were builders and dreamers. That combination made them dangerous. The fear grows. The more they studied, the more uneasy the Council became. Simulations were run on their computers. They imagined what would happen if humans left Earth and spread across the stars. The results were chilling. Given enough time, humans would adapt to alien worlds just as they had adapted to every corner of Earth. They would build, rebuild, and fight until they controlled entire systems. Once they learned to master space, there would be no stopping them. This species, one warrior admitted reluctantly, is not prey. They are a seed. Small now, yes, but if allowed to grow, they will become a forest that cannot be cut down. Zaylon nodded. Exactly. They are dangerous not because of what they are today, but because of what they will become tomorrow. The signal from Earth, then came the moment that sealed their fear. The Threxians intercepted a human broadcast traveling into space. It was simple. Images of rockets launching, of astronauts walking on the moon, of humans speaking proudly about exploring the universe. The message was not meant for aliens, only for themselves, but it told the Threxians everything. They are preparing, Zaylon said, his voice low. They already look to the stars. They are not content with one planet. They will come sooner than we think. The council chamber was silent. For the first time, the warriors did not laugh. They imagined a galaxy where humans spread, adapting to every world, enduring every storm, and rising stronger after every fall. It was a future they had never considered, and now it haunted them. The debate the fleet leaders argued late into the cycle. Some wanted to strike now, to crush humanity before it grew stronger. Others urged retreat, saying the risk was too high. The High Commander sat at the center, torn between pride and caution. These humans are not ready for us, he said firmly. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships crawl like insects compared to ours. If we strike now, they will fall. But Zaylon raised a warning hand. Perhaps. But if they fight like their world teaches them, if they rise from every blow, then even our victory will cost us dearly, and their memory will remain. The survivors will learn, adapt, and strike back one day. This is their nature. The shadow of tomorrow. The fleet hung above Earth, divided by fear and pride. Below, humans lived their ordinary lives, building cities, inventing machines, dreaming of space. They had no idea that a powerful empire debated their fate in the skies. But the decision would soon be made. Strike or retreat, crush or wait. Either way, one truth had already become clear. Humanity was no weak prey. Earth had shaped them into something far more dangerous than the Threxians had ever expected. And deep inside the heart of the fleet, even the proudest warrior began to whisper to himself, "If they ever reach us, the galaxy will never be the same." The Threxian fleet circled Earth like silent predators. Their ships glowed in the cold void, ready for war. Yet inside their command chambers there was no unity. For the first time in centuries, the Empire of Conquerors was divided. Some commanders demanded invasion at once. They argued that humans were still primitive, their rockets small, their weapons made of fire and metal instead of plasma. "Strike now," they shouted, "and they will never rise. Crush them before they learn." Others hesitated. They had seen the data, the storms, the fires, the endless resilience of this strange species. They feared that even a victory would come at a terrible cost. At the center of the chamber, High Commander Veyrak sat in silence, his clawed hands gripping the arm of his throne. His pride told him to destroy this planet. His instinct told him to fear it. The test strike, at last, impatience won. A group of younger Threxian officers begged for a test. "Let us show the weakness of these humans," they said. "One small strike will prove they are nothing." Veyrak agreed, though reluctantly. He ordered a single cruiser to target Earth's defenses, not for full invasion, but to measure the human response. The great ship lowered itself into the upper atmosphere, its weapons humming with deadly energy. On Earth, radar stations detected an unknown object descending. Alarms sounded across military bases. Commanders scrambled to respond. Fighter jets roared into the sky. Satellites shifted to track the intruder. The cruiser fired a warning blast into the ocean, sending waves crashing against distant shores. It was a display of power meant to frighten. But instead of fear, the humans responded with speed and coordination that shocked the Threxians. Missiles locked onto the alien ship within minutes. Electronic attacks surged through the airwaves, trying to disrupt its systems. Human pilots, though hopelessly outmatched in technology, flew directly toward the glowing cruiser, ready to fight to the death if needed. "They move faster than expected," one alien officer muttered in disbelief. "Their machines are weak, yet their reaction is fierce." The human spirit from orbit, the Threxians watched in silence. On their screens, they saw humans preparing not just with weapons but with unity. Civilian communication networks spread warnings within seconds. Engineers redirected satellites. Scientists began decoding the strange signals from the intruder. "These creatures do not wait for orders," Zaylan observed. "They act. Every mind becomes a soldier. Every tool becomes a weapon. This is their strength. They fight with everything they have." The cruiser was forced to retreat into space, its shields damaged by sheer persistence. No missile had truly pierced its armor. Yet the constant pressure of attacks, the endless adaptability of the humans, had forced it to flee. The test strike had proven nothing, except that humans could not be broken easily. The Council divides back aboard the fleet. Chaos filled the Council chamber. Some commanders were furious that the humans had dared to resist. Others were shaken by how quickly humanity had adapted to an enemy they had never seen before. Veyrak slammed his fist on the table. "They are still weak. Do not be fooled. They cannot stand against the full strength of our fleet." But Zaylan stood calmly, his voice steady as ever. "High Commander, you are wrong. Weakness is not what we saw. Their weapons may be simple, yes, but their spirit is not. You witnessed it yourself. They fight as if their entire world is one body. Strike them and they do not fall, they transform. That is a danger greater than any weapon." The chamber grew silent. For once, the proud warriors of the Empire did not argue. Deep in their hearts, they knew the scientist was right. The choice, the debate stretched on. Attack and risk awakening a power that might one day surpass them, or retreat and admit that their empire had found a rival too dangerous to provoke. Veyrak's pride burned, but even he could not ignore the signs. He had led countless wars, but this was different. Humanity was not a simple enemy. They were a storm waiting to rise. At last he gave the order. "We will not invade. Mark this planet as restricted. No Threxian vessel shall approach it again. Let these humans remain in their cradle." For now, the fleet stirred. Retreat was not in their nature, but fear was. And they feared Earth. Humanity unaware down below, humanity continued its life, unaware of how close it had come to war. Soldiers stood ready. Scientists studied the strange signals, and leaders gave calm speeches to their people. They did not know that a great empire had judged them dangerous and chosen to leave them alone. Children played in the streets. Workers repaired damaged satellites. Astronauts trained for future missions. Humanity did not realize that they had just passed a hidden test, that their unity, their spirit, and their relentless will had protected them from destruction. The whisper of the future. As the Threxian fleet prepared to depart, Zaylan recorded his final report. His voice carried not pride, but warning. "These humans are not to be measured by their weapons," he wrote. "They are to be measured by their will. Their world has forged them in fire, storm, and endless trial. They rise where others fall. They build where others break. Today they are small. Tomorrow they will be vast. The galaxy does not know it yet, but its balance has already shifted. When humanity reaches the stars, nothing will remain the same." His words were sent to the Empire's archives, though many leaders hoped they would never come true. But deep in his heart, Zaylan knew. The humans would come, they would rise. And when they did, the Threxians and the entire galaxy would face a power born not of armor or claws, but of endless determination. The departure. The fleet turned its engines toward the dark void. One by one, the massive ships disappeared into the blackness of space, leaving Earth behind. The skies grew quiet again, the stars returning to their peaceful glow. On Earth, humans looked upward, still dreaming of the stars. Their rockets rose higher each year. Their machines grew stronger, and their hope never faded. They did not know they had been judged by unseen eyes, or that they had already won their first battle without even realizing it. For now, the Threxians had left. But the story was far from over. The day would come when humanity reached beyond their blue home, carrying their storms, their fire, and their unbreakable spirit into the galaxy. And when that day arrived, no empire, no matter how proud, would dismiss them again.